apostles were unique in the power and authority they had. Okay? We do not have the same power and authority that the apostles had. And so when Ananias and Sapphira lie, they didn't need to lie. They could have given a portion, but they lied. They're hypocritical, and it's so early in the church that God wants to make a point. Okay? I am holy, okay? And I will not be played with. And so if they're used as an example. It's not a normal thing at all. Okay? We don't tend to see that happen today. But the message is still the same. We are unholy. God is holy. And let's never forget that. The difference is we have a way to approach His holiness. Okay? There is a way to approach His holiness. So Uzzah should not have touched the ark, even though he had good intentions. We can all admire it, and we think it's unfair. And David was angry. David was angry against God for killing Uzzah. We understand that. But the message really was, don't mess with me. Okay? I told you how to do it. I am holy. You're not supposed to touch it. And so he makes a very scary, severe point. So if I give you another commandment, for example, do not covet. Okay, the last commandment, do not covet. You shall not desire what is somebody else's. Or you should not have an unhealthy desire. That's actually what the word means. It's a strong, unhealthy desire for what somebody else has. Okay? Behind that, we need to see, well, what's the sin of coveting? Why would we covet? Why would we do that? What's the sin in our hearts that would make us want what somebody else has, or resent that they have it and I don't?
Selfishness.
What's that?
Selfishness.
Selfishness? Yeah. It could be lust, depending on what it is. You know, it's interesting, the Catholic Church separates, you shall not covet your neighbor's wife, is number 9. Number 10, you shall not covet your neighbor's goods. They separate those two. But most of us, it's combined. It's not clear how to count the commandments. Okay? So it could be lust if you're talking about your neighbor's wife. Okay? It could be their new car that you are coveting, right? Now, it could be that they have a child and you're not able to have a child, right? I mean, and of course, it's a desirable thing, I suppose, to have a child, and so it's understandable. But the question is, what's going on in the heart? Can you rejoice with that person that they have a healthy child and you do not? Okay? Or are you not able to because you covet? So part of it, of course, is our inability to be happy for others, right? But it also is, God, you're not giving me. You're not giving me what I really need. Okay? I need that. It's idolatry. It's greed. Okay? Sometimes they can be for very ordinary things. It's when it becomes a sinful, strong desire that I must have that. And that's when it crosses over to sin. But is not Christ enough for us? The definition of an idol, and I would say coveting is idolatrous. The definition of an idol is, for us today, is anything that we must have in addition to Jesus. Okay, is Jesus enough? Or you say, I love Jesus, but I also need to be very healthy. Okay, or I cannot be sad, or I cannot be happy. Okay? You see this in your churches. When tragedy strikes, and then how do people respond? The people that turn their back on God and say, well, this is not what I signed up for. This is not, well, then clearly they had an idol. It's idols in our life when we say, I love you, Lord, but if I'm not married, okay, I cannot be happy. Okay, well, that can't be true for us. If it's something you desire, that's fine. But if you put it anywhere near the level of needing Jesus or loving Jesus, you've got an idol. Okay, so it becomes unhealthy when it starts competing. I will only love you if you give me this. But I must have this. Because what happens when God takes it away? Okay? Does your faith fall apart? So we have idols in our lives, and they need to be cast off. I think I want to move on, and I'm going to ask you to do a passage now by yourselves. We're going to move on. Let's do this one. Let's look at a very well-known passage in the Epic of the Kings. So this is page 23. The Epic of the Kings. Now, I have not been reading to you all of the pages on the epics, like all the theological themes that we find. Okay? You need to do that on your own. We're going through this kind of fast because we have to. What I want you to do is I want you to look at a well-known children's passage, which is David and Goliath, which is found where? 1 Samuel 17. So let's look at 1 Samuel 17. Now it's a long passage. We're not going to read it out loud. You can skim it. You probably know it. What I want you to do is figure out what's the main point. Okay? And what's the main point of the passage? Redemptive themes. What do you see in the story that are really pointing towards salvation? And then specifically, is there something you can connect to Jesus, either as a type or simply as the need and preparation for Jesus? Feel free to work with other people on this if you'd like to. People around you, okay? But I want to give you about 20 minutes to do this. Okay, so what's the main point of 1 Samuel 17? What are some redemptive themes in there? You've got a battle going on, okay? And how can you see themes of redemption? But if you have trouble with this, definitely see if you can do this. What points towards something Jesus is going to do? Right, so let's take 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, we'll talk about it and we'll take another break. Okay, so let's. If you need to stand up, go ahead. But 20 minutes to work on this, please.
Should we send separate papers or?
It's not written. It's not. I'm not going to collect anything. It's
Enter the 1 Samuel chapter 17. Verse. What's the verse?
Well, it's the whole chapter, really. It's a long chapter. It's the story of David and Goliath.
የዳዊትና የጎልያድ ታሪክ እሱን አንብባችሁ ዘን በዴቪድን ጎልያድ አለ እዛ ጋር ከዛ በኋላ እንትን ነው what was the question?
Those are the questions. Those are the main points redemptive.
Main point.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Do you want it written?
No. Only if you want to be able to read it back. But I'm not collecting this.
What is the main point? You can't tell that. And redemptive themes. Yes.
Identify one. Two. Can you see the question? I've just posted them.
Abraham. Abraham. The chat room live. Yeah. That one didn't you like it?